everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of This Is Me. I am Siobhan, and we'll just see how this goes. So, first question, who am I? I am a mother. I have 3 girls. They are 5, 7, and 11. The 5-year-old does taekwondo, 7-year-old plays violin, and she wants to do ballet. We're still looking for a class for that. That fits into our already busy schedule. And the 11-year-old plays violin. She plays the piano. She's part of Pathfinders, which is kind of like Girl Scouts, only it's affiliated with our church, which is the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And she does the bell choir, the handbell choir, at church and at school. So we stay busy. I am a wife. I have been married for 12 and a half years, and I've known my husband since I was 6 years old. So we've been in each other's lives for a very, very long time. I'm a creator. I love knitting and crochet. I have over here, an example of some of the works that I've done. So this is one thing that I've done. This is what is this pattern called? Textured Laguna Wrap by, that was my cat. She decided to be into the shot as well. Textured Laguna Wrap by Chandy Aggie on expressionfiberarts.com. She does lots of good stuff. She dyes yarn and then she also sells patterns. So lots of good stuff. I also crochet. I have a few examples of my work. So these are some things that I have done. So I have a pig. Its name is, I forget the pig's name. That's okay, I'll figure it out later. And I have a frog. Her name is Blossom. That name I remember. And I also have a little flower that I have yet to sew to the side of her head. So hence the name Blossom. So that's gonna go on her head somewhere. Haven't figured that out yet, which is why it's not on there yet. And I have a turtle. His name is Shelby. Not too original, but that's okay. And the thing I like about Shelby, shell is removable. It reminds me of the turtles on Mario Kart, or Mario Brothers in general. How they can lose their shells sometimes. So cool. I have a giraffe, and she's got lots of spots. And her name, I just created her, so I should remember her name, but I don't. So we'll have to figure that out later too. And I have a little panda. The panda's name is Bayun, and it means white cloud. That I looked up online because one thing I learned is that pandas always have a Chinese name. And the Chinese name usually has to do something with their character. That's pretty cool. So I also draw, something that I just recently got into, so I'm not all that great at it, but I do okay. I like to sing. I used to be a part of the church praise team, but I haven't been on a praise team in a while because of schedule conflicts and all those things and changing churches and not even being a part of or going to the same church every week, so it kind of messes things up. I sew. I tell people all the time that I hate to hand sew, but I do it because sometimes it's necessary, especially when you're attaching things onto the little critters that I make. So I have to hand sew, but it's a tedious process for me that I only like to do in short bursts. But I can sew on a machine as well. My sewing machine is put away right now because I don't use it very often. I used to hate cooking. Like, it just was so annoying to have to cook. But I've grown out of that. That was like 12 years ago when I first got married. I was like, oh, I hate cooking. But now I'm okay with cooking because it's kind of like, it's like a creative process. And so I like doing some of the same things, and I like trying new things. I play the piano. by no means an expert in the piano, but I can read music and I can play, and sometimes I can do both of those at the same time. I like to write. I've done some short stories, I've done some poems, I've done some slightly longer stories, but I was a teenager when I did them, so now, and as my adult self looking back at what I did as a teenager, it's kind of laughable, but that's okay, because when you're a teenager, you can get away with things that you can't get away with as an adult. So, those are some things about me being a creator. I'm a teacher, so I went to school for education, and I graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Education, elementary education specifically, and I had an emphasis in early childhood education, math, and English language arts. So those are kind of the areas that I like to dabble in. I don't hate science and social studies, but I don't like them as much as I like the other things. So I tend to stick with the language arts and the math. And literacy in particular is my favorite thing to do, because I like teaching kids how to read. So that's fun. So far I've taught 3 to 5-year-olds. I taught in daycare with 3 to 5-year-olds, and I taught them sight words, the alphabet, obviously. Many of them didn't know how to spell or write their names when they started coming there, and by the time they left, they all could do, they could all write their names, and in the right order. Now, they weren't always very neat or very legible, but they were on the paper, and they were in the right order, and they had fun. And now I am teaching 4 and 5-year-olds in a pre-K setting at a elementary school, and that's fun too. I let them play a lot, and so they love that. And through the play, they've gained, a lot of social skills. And we're also doing sight words in there too, and name writing, and lots of good stuff. That job is more part-time. The daycare was full-time. I was with the kids 8 hours out of the day. And here at the school I'm at now, I'm only with the kids for 3 hours, from 8:30 to 11:30. So yeah, 3 hours. So we don't get quite as much done as I did with the other group, but we still get enough done to that the kids can be ready for kindergarten in the fall. With science, it's not my strong suit, but what we do with science is we talk about the weather, we talk about changes over time, we talk about plant growth. We have a science fair coming up at the school, and it is science. Well, like I just said, it's a science fair, and so our class is doing. The question that we're posing is, what happens to a flower when you put it in colored water? So we have white flowers, and we put them in blue, red, and yellow water. One of the stems is split so that it's in all 3 colors, and then the other ones are just in individual colors. So there's 3 flowers in blue, 3 in red, 3 in yellow, and then I have 3 flowers that are just in plain water, and then the 1 flower that's split into the 3 different colors. So that'll be fun when it comes out. So far it's been 7 days, and the color has not gotten to the petals yet. So that's another question that we're asking, is how long does it take for the water to reach the petals? And so that's one thing that we're learning. So my question for you is, who are you? You don't have to go into as much detail as I did, but are you a mother? Are you a creator like I am with the knitting and crocheting? Are you a teacher? Are you, an engineer? Like, who are you? Feel free to comment below and let me know who you are. And thanks for watching my very first episode of This Is Me.